Hi guys, today I'm going to teach you how to answer a question in an interview as a strategist. So when you go for an interview in firms like Big Four or a policy firm or any other firm which is basically testing how are your problem solving skills, they do not really ask you typical academical questions. Of course they do, but one of the type of questions that they ask you are mostly problem solving and situational questions, which do not have a correct answer. And they give you a situation and then they ask you questions around it, and then they test how good are you in problem solving, how good are you in structuring. So today we are going to learn about how to answer a question in not only a consulting interview but also in any interview as a strategist. So let's begin. Suppose an interviewer gives you a hypothetical situation that if you were an entrepreneur, which investors would you approach in the early stages of your business? Now, before I answer that question for you, why don't you go ahead and think about it and write your answer? Let's wait for a moment. You can also pause the video and then you can write your answer. All right, let's begin and let's find out the most logical and structured approach of answering that question. Now, before we jump to the answer, let's keep in mind a few things. First of all, like I said, the interviewer is not interested to know the correct answer. He is just testing you. He's just seeing how is your problem solving skills, how are your structuring skills. So there's no one right or wrong answer. You just have to know the entire fundamentals of coming to that answer. He wants to know the process, the thoughts that you have while developing an answer. There are actually no right or wrong answers in situational questions. Questions like these. You may ask for a moment to think. You just don't have to jump to the solution. You can think of the problem, make assumptions. That's all right. Okay, you can just take 2 minutes. You can ask for a pen or paper and then write the question and answer, process your thoughts, and then you can share your answer. It actually shows how much you're thinking and critically analyzing the question. Okay, you don't have to get nervous. Now that you know the basics, let's discuss how we can solve this. So let me just share the question again. As an entrepreneur, which investors will you approach in the early stages of your business? Now, the first thing is that you have to make assumptions for answering such questions, because it's a very open-ended question. Okay, so you have to make an assumption as to what is your business idea. Maybe you can say that you are going to open a restaurant. Then you have to share what is the business stage that you are in, because although the interviewer has told you that it's just this earliest stage of your business, but even in the early stages you have to make sure that either you are at the conceptual stage, or you have started the business, you're finding the seed money, or you've just started the business, it's been 1 or 2 years and you have just set in. So what is the starting stage of your business? So for now, I'm just making an assumption that it's a concept stage. You just have the idea of the business. And then what are your financial condition? Who's going to invest in it? What kind of investors do you have currently? So I've just made this assumption that I have limited funds. I cannot open a restaurant on my own. So I have to get funders. I have to get investors. And then another and last assumption that I'm making is, how are my networks? To whom am I supposed to go for? What are the kind of investors that I can go for? So I've said that I have good networking strength, and I have friends, family, and of course a few people that I know who can invest in my idea. Now, once you have made all the assumptions to answer the question, so you can make these assumptions, you can also make other assumptions as you like. You have to remember one thing. You don't have to name exact investors, so it is okay if you don't know the names. Okay, so the interviewer is not asking you to give the names of the investors. Like you can't say just, I mean, you can say, but then you have to come to the logical explanation of it. So you don't have to say that it's Meta or it's Amazon, or any big MNCs or anybody. No, you don't have to really learn about them. So like I said, there are no correct answers. You just have to give a possible answer to that question, a possible process that you're coming to. So like I said, you don't have to share the exact name of investors that you will be reaching. You can just share the types of investors that you will reach based on the assumptions. So like you said, you made an assumption that it's at this concept state. So you can say that, I'll first reach out to the friends and family because these are the people who really trust in my business idea. But to come to this answer, that the type of the investors that you are looking for, you will also have to give the assumption that you made in the last slide. So in the last slide, you said that, my business idea is at the conceptual stage. That's why I will reach out to friends and family. Then you can say, once my business started and it's in 1 or 2 years, maybe I can reach to incubators and accelerators, then angel investors, and then maybe early stage venture who was interested in sponsoring or investing in unique business ideas. So this is potentially your answer, but you do not actually give the answer right away. You also tend to share the process. So let's see, how do you frame your answers. So you could say that I have made an assumption that I am a restaurant owner and I want to open a food business, and I have good networking strength, and as the business is at the concept stage, I would may first reach out to the family and friends. Since the business is at the concept stage, I may also reach out to angel investors or incubators later on. Once a concept proof is ready, I may reach out to small early stage venture capitals investing or interested in investing in food industry. So this is the way you make your answers, and this is a good answer. And the interviewer, like I've already multiple times said, that the interviewer is actually interested in knowing what is the process that you have made, how you're categorizing your thoughts and you're structuring your thoughts, and then you're coming to an answer. Final thought, I think it would be good for you to remember this, that please just listen to the question again, think about the question again. It's okay to take a moment, it's still okay to take 2 minutes and then write about that question, write about that answer. And there you go. For more videos like this, you can follow me. Yeah. Thank you.